Thanks for stopping by. I'm Angel, and I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Meow Wolf Area 15, attending my first Arkadia Festival, which is pretty phenomenal and spectacular in all kinds of ways. But that isn't the main thing I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about is how autism plays into my ability to enjoy such an amazing event as this. I'm 51, and I just a couple months ago realized that I'm autistic and keep having all these little mini epiphanies, I've been calling them, with regards to how that has been influencing my experiences. I just dropped a little googly eye. I'll pick it up later. I brought some googly eyes to put on things for my own and others' entertainment. I was just at the start of this event, and was an amazing speaker, and a couple amazing speakers actually, and then one of the exercises that one of the speakers had the audience do, and we're an audience of about somewhere between 500 and 1,000, probably about 800 or so people in this arena outside, and actually Charles Eisenstein led us through an exercise of looking into another person's eyes, and then another person's, and then hugging for a time as we went through this transformational group experience together, which was pretty profound. However, I have always had an issue looking people in the eye. That's one of the clues that led me to realize that I'm autistic. And in this experience just now, even though I'm able to hold eye contact, it is very difficult for me. It takes almost all my concentration, and then I have a harder time being present for whatever else is going on, like in this case, this experience that we were co-creating together. And then this, where I sometimes lose the ability to speak, sometimes I lose the ability to shut up, and then other times I really tend to stammer or lose my words. And I notice that this happens, like, it seems obvious that it would happen. Let's wait for that helicopter. It makes sense that when we're more stressed out, when we have more going on, we're using up more of our bandwidth, that any of us, autistic or not, are going to be more likely to have some of those nervous habits surface, or anxiety symptoms. All of the guys just circling around now. He might be doing a tour. It is Vegas after all, the city that never sleeps, as they say. It's pretty amazing here. But for an autistic person, it is fairly overwhelming. Now, I practiced a lot, and I do fairly well, I think, at coping. But what I've noticed since I've realized that I'm autistic, part of the reason I realized that was because I was starting to have more and more frequent meltdowns. And now that I'm aware of what that is, it's part of the reason I came out to the parking lot to sit in my car for a while and make a video and put some googly eyes on things. Even though I love the festival and I plan on going back in, I am beginning to get better at recognizing when I'm over my threshold of overwhelm, and looking somebody in the eyes for like a whole minute, even though I couldn't quite do it. She was a lovely, lovely woman, young woman. And it was nothing, about the person. It's that it takes so much of my concentration that then afterwards, I mean, there's also a lot going on, as you can hear, even out here in the back of the parking lot, and in there with 1,000 people at a festival, there's a whole lot going on. Also, there's a lot going on energetically and in my own personal life. So all of that adds up to, I need to take a break and go sit in the back of the parking lot for a little while to dissipate some of the tension that's built up in my body before I go back in and risk a meltdown, basically, which is fairly out of my control once it starts to cascade. This was, like I mentioned, one of the clues to me being autistic, because I think most of us, when we're overwhelmed, might spill over the threshold of overwhelm, but many of us can control that spillover, like save it till later. And sometimes when I'm when my bandwidth is bigger and I'm not so having used it up in the last year with a lot of life episodes going on, the life issues, details, pandemic not being the least of which, when I have a bigger bandwidth, I am more capable of controlling that meltdown. But when I have used a lot more of it up, I am learning to recognize that I need to remove myself from the situation for a while. Probably dissipate some energy. I would say do some physical exercise, but my body is feeling kind of beat, because not beat literally, but like tired, because I danced the last couple nights and gone to some yoga classes, and just traveling in general makes one a little extra tired sometimes from all the excitement. Anyway, I think I'm just babbling at you, so let me try to wrap up with some points. I think I only got to the one, which is really overarchingly just trying to share what my experience is like as a autistic person, who should be an autistic person, shouldn't it? Just realizing that, and having gone to festivals in the past, not for a long while, but now coming to one for the first time with this new knowledge about myself. It's just interesting to reflect on. One of my missions is to treat myself a lot better than I have in the past, and this festival is a portal for me and many people actually into, I would say, a new timeline, let's call it that. And so on a broad social sense, and also very much on a personal sense for me. So as I let go of the old me and embrace the new me, part of that for me is taking a lot better care of myself than I did when I was younger. Now that I'm old enough to parent myself more correctly, more lovingly, I aim to do a better job at that. So one of the aspects of that is accommodating my own needs, and that really, I mentioned autism several times now, and that is what that realization is, the framework that I'm now working with when I remove myself from the situation. But I may have very well removed myself from the situation in a similar way before I realized that. And I acknowledge that really it doesn't necessarily have much to do with autism, that a person might get overwhelmed and leave. The bit that does have to do with autism is that looking somebody in the eye took a lot of energy for me, whereas I think for many other people it was very energizing. And it was energizing to me as well, I think, but that's the thing. In my head it is, but in my body, what I noticed is I almost started weeping, not like in that emotional moment, which would have been more understandable, but just as I was walking around about I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes after that, I started to get what I recognize as this sort of, maybe it's an after effect of that anxiety, where then my body wants to cry, or even if I had more energy, I'd probably dance it out, do something to dissipate that energy. And I guess I would ask you, if you are not autistic, or what's called neurotypical as opposed to neurodivergent, perhaps you have some insight about differences or similarities in how you might deal with both eye gazing with a stranger and just that sense of overwhelm bubbling up in the body, or if you do at all. I'd love to know if you care to share. This is getting longer than I expected, so I'm going to wrap it up there. Leave you with that question. Do you feel anxious when you look people in the eye? Does it take a lot of energy? And do you find that you have to, or that you do well if you remove yourself from situations where other people seem to be happy to stay longer? Let me know. I thank you if you do. I thank you if you subscribe to this channel, and if you check out the description for ways you can connect with me, somewhere down there, I think. I have some links to books and music and art that I've made, and also some affiliate links. Check them out. Most of all, be good to yourself. You only got your one body to live in, so be good to your body and take good care of it. You are worthy of your own unconditional love, so I hope you're giving yourself plenty of that. I'm going to keep practicing myself. Till next time, stay free.